Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So the last update about Unfortunate Love was how Kiran decided to expose Sonal and Malishka, but Sonal threatened Kiran that if she exposed her, then she would also go to the Obrey's house and tell everyone about everything that Malishka has been doing. So let's continue from there. Rishi, Neelam and others are at the hospital. Rishi opens the door and comes inside Kiran's ward. Lakshmi asks the doctor to check Kiran. The doctor checks Kiran and says that she is fine, but she is having some effect on her mind due to the accident. The doctor says she can get pain in her head, but they can take her home. Neelam tells Kiran that she will take her to her house, but Kiran thanks Neelam and says that she will be more comfortable in her own house. Rishi and Lakshmi ask Kiran why the door was closed earlier. Sonal says Auntie was insisting to go home, and that was why Malishka closed the door to stop her. The inspector asks Kiran that how did the accident happen. Kiran says I will tell you the truth. Sonal thinks that Auntie will get me killed, and then I will not spare her daughter as well. Malishka thinks that I know Sonal. She will suffocate my neck if I hold her neck, and she thinks of what to do. Sonal threatens Malishka to warn her mother not to tell everyone the truth about the accident. Malishka thinks that Virendra and Neelam would think that I am worse than Lakshmi, and Rishi will kick me out of his life after knowing the truth. Kiran tells the inspector that the car was coming in a speed and I thought that Lakshmi came to save me, but Lakshmi was angry with me and she held my hand and pushed me towards the car, and Lakshmi is shocked. Kiran tells the inspector that the car hit me and the driver ran away with the car. The inspector says, so you want to say that Lakshmi is guilty and not the car driver? Kiran says yes, Lakshmi is guilty. Shalu tells Ayush that she hopes that their fear proves wrong, and Ayush says nothing wrong would happen to your sister. Grandma asks Kiran that what are you saying? Kiran says Lakshmi did my accident to take revenge from me, which she wanted to take from Malishka before. So now says to Malishka that Auntie saved you. Now Lakshmi will go to jail and she will get rotten there. Lakshmi says to everyone that this is not the truth. I did not do anything. Neelam asks, what do you mean to say that Kiran is lying? Lakshmi says yes, and then she asks Kiran to remember that she tried to hold her hand, but she couldn't hold it before the accident. Malishka says, how dare you? My mom is in this condition because of you, and you are accusing her of lying. Lakshmi says no, and says I am saying the truth. Lakshmi asks Malishka that if she wanted to kill Auntie, then why would she care for her after the accident? Sonal says you have pretended so that nobody would doubt you. Neelam asks Rishi if he heard what Kiran said. Rishi says Auntie has a misunderstanding and says I have seen how Lakshmi was helping her and pleading with the cars for help, so Lakshmi can bring her to the hospital and so that she can save her. Malishka says to Rishi that you are also blaming my mom for Lakshmi. Rishi says to Kiran that I am damn sure that you are having a misunderstanding. He says, in fact, Malishka had told me that you had a misunderstanding. Sonal says whatever happened was with Auntie, and Auntie knows who is responsible for her accident. Kiran says to everyone that I know well who has done this with me. Virendra says sometimes what we see is not true. Sonal tried to talk, but Virendra asks her to shut up. Rishi asks Kiran that why are you blaming Lakshmi? And Kiran says if you want, then I can take back the complaint against Lakshmi. Kiran feels bad for Lakshmi and she tells the inspector that she wants to take back the case against Lakshmi. The inspector says you cannot take back the complaint and he asks her to sign on her statement. Karishma gets happy and says that Lakshmi got caught red-handed this time. The inspector says to Lakshmi that you are under arrest. Rishi says we are still discussing, so you cannot arrest Lakshmi. Virendra says Lakshmi cannot do this. The inspector asks them to prove it in court because the victim has given a statement, and the inspector asks the lady constable to arrest Lakshmi. Malishka asks Lakshmi that how dare you to do this with my mom? She says your real face was exposed in front of me and now it is exposed in front of everyone, and says disgusting. Lakshmi says I did not do anything. I haven't done anything wrong. I don't know why Auntie is saying this because I was only helping her after the accident. Grandma says to Lakshmi that you cannot do anything wrong. Virendra says we know that you are innocent and nothing would happen to you. Lakshmi tells Rishi that she is innocent. Rishi says you don't need to say it because I know it that you are innocent. Malishka asks Rishi if he means to say that her mom is lying, and Rishi says yes, but you said it yourself. Malishka says to Rishi that Lakshmi is guilty. Rishi says Auntie is having a misunderstanding. Lakshmi tells Neelam that she is innocent and says she will swear on Rishi and say, but Neelam stops her from swearing on Rishi. The police is taking Lakshmi away, but Ayush and Shalu comes there with an anticipatory bail papers. The inspector checks the papers and he leaves Lakshmi and he asks her not to go out of the city because she is only released on a temporary bail and they can call her anytime for interrogation. Rishi thanks Ayush for this idea and Ayush says Shalu got the feelings that Lakshmi will land in trouble, so they quickly came up with the bail papers idea. Grandma appreciates Shalu for her love and Rishi and Virendra thanks Shalu. Then Lakshmi recalls the promise that she made to Neelam that if Kiran mentioned her name, then she will leave the house and she gets worried. While everyone has left, Sonal tells Malishka that she has turned all the games around, but Kiran asks them to shut up, seeing them laughing. Kiran says to Sonal and Malishka that two people are behind Lakshmi's life and Lakshmi saved me. Malishka says I saved you. Kiran says the nurse told me that Lakshmi and Rishi had brought me here with Malishka. Sonal asks her to think about only Malishka. Kiran says she doesn't want to see Sonal and she asks Malishka not to do anything again. Malishka asks Kiran not to worry and says there is no chance that I will do anything to Lakshmi again because Lakshmi is already caught. Kiran says Rishi would hate me if he comes to know about the truth and Malishka asks if Kiran is on Lakshmi's side. Kiran says I am on your side, but I am worried for you and for myself. Kiran worries for cheating Rishi and says Rishi respects me like his mother, but I lied to him. Sonal says Malishka is your real daughter and Rishi's mother wants Lakshmi to go away from Rishi. Kiran asks Sonal to shut up and leave and says get lost from here. Rishi and Lakshmi comes home. Rishi recalls his promise made to Neelam and he gets worried. Neelam comes to Rishi. Rishi says, Mom. Neelam says, I don't want to hear anything or argue. She says, we have bear enough. My son is against me due to Lakshmi, but not anymore. She reminds Rishi of tomorrow's date and says it is another court hearing date for him and Lakshmi, and Rishi looks at Lakshmi. Sonal says, Auntie, you have called me here to help Malishka and you are doubting me again. Kiran says, I called you, but I did not know that you would do criminal activity. She says, my daughter's life will be ruined and sword is hanging on her head now. She says, if this thing happens and Malishka gets in trouble, then I will show you what I can do. Sonal leaves and Malishka also leaves. Kiran says to herself that I was hopeful that Rishi and Malishka would unite, but that hope is less now. She says Malishka's evil doing has been increasing and she worries for the day when Malishka's sin pot will break and says she and her daughter will not be able to face anyone when that day comes. Karishma tells Neelam that Rishi and Lakshmi do not remember what tomorrow's date is. Neelam says I have counted every day and says to Rishi that tomorrow is your divorce hearing and I will make sure that this relationship is over and tomorrow all the family members will be against Lakshmi. Neelam says to Lakshmi that not all the family, but few people will support you even now, but I will be against those who support you even if I am lonely. She says I am alone and enough. Karishma says to Neelam that many family members are with you, and Neelam tells Rishi that she will get him divorced tomorrow. Neelam says to Rishi that she is his mother and she knows that he is good at art. She holds his face and says you love Malishka even now and she goes. Sonal gets upset that Kiran threatened her. Malishka comes to her and says Kiran is in stress. Sonal asks whose side is she and Malishka says my mother is just worried for me. Sonal says Ashish, you and I are safe. Malishka says but we have to be careful. Sonal says we have to push Lakshmi into the grave. Malishka says tomorrow is the court case hearing of Rishi and Lakshmi's divorce. Sonal says it is good and she tells her that they should do something different. Sonal says to Malishka that we would attack Rishi this time. Malishka says no, nothing should happen to Rishi. Sonal says we will use our Brahmastra whose aim never go to waste and says she would explain. Virendra comes behind Neelam and asks her to understand that Rishi is happy because of Lakshmi. Neelam asks what about the pain and says we all know that Rishi loves Malishka. Virendra says to Neelam that Rishi loved Malishka before, but now Rishi loves Lakshmi. Neelam says it is your thought. Your eyes are misunderstood. She asks him not to force his decision on Rishi and on her. She says she is separating Rishi from that inauspicious girl and she is making Rishi unite with his love Malishka, and Virendra looks on. Okay guys, thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to check the comment section for the link to the next episode and I will see you all again in my next video. Bye guys.